What's up, guys? Paul Mello here, Extreme Garage. Hey, what I wanted to talk about today is I see some guys online, they're bashing the garages, restoration shops on their work. I'm going to give you the flip side of that, right? So you got to remember that the customer used to always be right. So when they come into your shop, they come in and they're like, oh, I got a budget of, let's say, $10,000. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to paint the car, we want to do a little engine work maybe. And again, little for that amount of money, correct? So the problem is the customer has a frame or a budget in mind. So obviously I'm the garage. I can't go outside that budget. So instead of putting, let's say the car needs rear quarters. Okay, well in this budget maybe we're going to patch them. We're going to put panel pieces in. You know, maybe it needs a roof, quarters, fenders, and a hood. Again, the customer can't afford that kind of money. They're like, can we patch it up? Okay, well you're a body shop or a Bondo professional or a fiberglass guy, or you could weld some nice patches in and make the car look halfway decent at the end of the day. The car comes out looking nice. Well, then that owner sells the car to somebody else, and you know, maybe it gets a bubble here or a bubble there, and they sand it down and they see, oh, it's welded here, it's welded there, there's patches all over the place. Oh, well, those guys are hacks, or they did a terrible job, or, well, no. The original customer that came in didn't have any money, let's be honest. They were broke. So they can't do like this car here. This car here has new fenders, new doors, new quarters, new roof, new hood, new everything. So obviously that budget is, you know, whatever it is, 30,000, 50,000. It's a new engine, it's a new transmission, it's new suspension, new rear end, new wheels, new tires, new lights, new wiring, right? So this guy has unlimited funds. So that's not a problem for him. So it's the low budget guy that's got a few dollars saved up that wants to fix this car so he can have fun driving it around. So when they do that, you know, then the next person they sell the car to takes it to Joe Blow's restoration shop, and they build $100,000 cars. Well, of course, they're going to look at it. This car is a piece of junk. Oh, look at this, look at that, Well, the problem is the poor guy would never be able to have, you know, something that looks like this if he didn't patch up what he had and painted it nice. Yeah, so when you go to buy a car, it's your job to go over the car and make sure it's as perfect as you want the car to be, right? If the car is $50,000, of course, when you have it inspected or you bring your mechanic, yeah, you want everything pretty much perfect, right? Now, if the car is $15,000 or $18,000, well, it's still a lot of money, but it's probably going to have some imperfections in it, right? Because it's not 50,000, it's 18, it's 10, it's 7, it's 8. So again, it goes by your pocketbook on how nice the car is going to come out. So don't get me wrong, is there guys out there that build cars and that, you know, they put it on the road and it's unsafe? Yeah, there's people that do that, but not every garage is like that, and you can't say, oh, the car flipper or this or that, because there is guys that flip cars and they do a nice job when the car leaves, whatever it is, used car, old car. You know, I flip some cars sometimes, and but I make sure there's no lights on, the car is pretty safe to go down the road, the brakes are good, all the mechanical stuff is in order, and the body is however the pricing is on the car. So you can't say every garage rips people off, or there's a billion guys like that. No, not everybody can go to the $100,000 restoration shop. Not everybody has a $200,000 garage queen in their repertoire, right? So you know, if it has a little rot here and a little rot there underneath the car, you know, does the car still stop going down the road? When you step on the brakes, is the car going two different ways? Obviously, you know, is the front end loose all over the place down the road? Well, those are the things you want to look at. And depending on your budget is how you spend your money, right? So again, I'm just throwing this video out there because I see a lot of guys coming out, and because they're not at the top-notch restoration facility that everyone else is doing garbage work. And again, hey, stuff happens, or you miss something, or you know, the car might have come into your shop and the guy's like, oh, I just want this car painted. So you put a paint job on it. And maybe you're not a mechanic. Maybe the car never even got up on the lift, right? You did a driver restoration on it. You never lifted the car in the air. You put a paint job on it. So now because the car was at your shop, you're considered a hack because you're not a mechanic. You never looked at the suspension or the rear end, or no, the customer brought it to you to get the car painted. So it doesn't fall under your, it's your fault if, you know, the wheel falls off when it's going down the road, or the tie rod breaks off. No, you're not doing a safety inspection on it. You're doing a paint job on it. So again, you guys out there that are supposed to be professionals, you know, you got to come out and say, hey, you know, it's not every garage. It's not, oh, you know, we see a lot of this. No, you got to go back to the original customer. And they're probably going to lie and not say, oh, yeah, no, I just sent it there for paint. Or, you know, I sent it there and he told me it was all rotted everywhere and he put a couple patches in. So now that guy's a criminal because he probably told the customer it was rotted. Because at the end of the day, if the car goes down the road and the wheel falls off and it was at a mechanic shop, or the car breaks in half, of course, that mechanic's on the line. So I'm sure that if they investigated, there's some paperwork saying A, B, C, D on what's wrong with the car. You know what I mean? They did an overall inspection on it. Hey, the rocker boxes are rotted. This is rotted. The leaf hangers are rotted off the car. Again, if you tell the customer that and they're like, oh, just paint the car, and you're a small shop, what are you supposed to do at that point? 90% of the shops are painting the car. You know, they're going to tell the guy, oh, you should replace this and that. Oh, I'm going to do it later on. Oh, yeah, when I get some more money. And the guy never does it and he sells the car. So now they're saying, oh, you know, the shop owner, you know, he's a criminal. He's this, he's that. No, that's not the case. Sometimes it could be the case. But 90% of the time, you know, once it gets sold, it's out of that guy's hands. It's, you know, the garage might have informed the customer, and the customer didn't say nothing. So who's the guy ripping somebody off? It's the guy selling the car, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're buying a car, you should bring somebody with you. Hey, I see guys they don't crawl underneath the car. Hey, and when I was a kid, right, I bought a car, a nice old car, 73 AMX. I show up, it's pouring out, lightning everywhere. I live in Florida. Hey, the car's parked up against the wall. It's pouring, lightning's flying around. I look at the driver's side. I look at the car's $1,500 or whatever, which, you know, 30 years ago, that was a lot of money. So, you know, I tell the guy I want the car. I get the Ram truck, I pick the car up, I put it on the truck, I take it out of there. I get it back to the shop, I put it inside, I'm looking at the car, and the car looked great. So whoever did this car was Bondo Fantastic, okay, and Fiberglass King. So the car looked good. So I go to open the passenger door. I open the passenger door, it falls off. It's hanging down, it's on the ground. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Hey, the post that holds the hinges was rotted. The post that holds the quarters was rotted off the car. I could grab it and go like this. But again, it was up against the wall, or the bushes, against the guy's house, so I didn't even look at that side. It's pouring out. But you know what? I bought the car. That's not that guy's fault. He fixed it enough to drive it, right? I bought it. It was my job to look the car over. Hey, when I sanded the car down, it had 45 holes, shotgun shell, boom, blown in the side of the car like this big, 3 of them down the quarter of the car. Hey, the whole bottom of the car from this far up was gone everywhere. Everything was rotted. So I still have the car. The only thing I kept off that car was the roof and the 2 doors. The whole trunk floor was gone. Everything was fiberglass. The deck lid was gone. You couldn't tell. The guy did a fantastic job. So whose fault is that? It's my fault, because I should have looked the car over better. I should have went on a sunny day when I could open the door. I should have jacked the car up and went all over it. And I know $1,500 now that's like 10 cents, you know what I mean? But again, it's my fault. I didn't go over it. You know, if you're gonna go and buy something, you look under the car. You take a little screwdriver, you poke around the frame, you poke the floors a little bit to make sure you're buying something that's solid. If the price is next to nothing, well then you can't complain, because he's not charging you much for the car. What should he reimburse you? He should pay you to take the car away? No, of course not. But again, if you're buying a high dollar car, then you got to have that car, looked over pretty good, And again, and then that might not be the car for you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's priced right because it's not perfect. It's priced in this ballpark because it's not a trailer queen, it's a driver. It's something we can get in there and put the thing to the floor and light the tires up from this telephone pole to that telephone pole, have some fun, do some donuts, put the car away, and then go in the house before the cops get there, right? And laugh while you're sitting there watching TV. Well, that's what it's all about. But again, if you're going to go look at a car, bring someone that's a car guy with you. Look the car over good, right? And I get the old typical, it's got Bondo in it. Hey, every car has Bondo in it. I don't give a shit. You put brand new panels, there's Bondo in it. They come with dings and dents. You got to take the dents out of the brand new panels. Don't get me wrong. Is there a couple shops out there that don't put any Bondo on the car? Of course, there probably is, right? Rare. It's in another shop that's getting a little coat of mud, boom, boom, boom. It's getting painted. No one's going to know it's there, right? So, in a lot of the custom cars that are, that was a 2-door, 4-door, that whole car is coated with Bondo. And if you don't want that, don't buy it, right? And then you don't have any problems. That's for someone that likes the car, they love what they see, and they're going to buy the car. Again, if you're going to do it, you bring somebody with you, and they look the car over. And then if it meets their approval, you bang out a price, and then you own it. Once you buy it, you own it. The guy didn't force you to buy it. You bought it because you liked it. You know what I mean? And if that's all the money you have, you shouldn't be buying it anyways. So again, this short little video here just to, be the devil's advocate. I can't even speak. For the garages, right? Devil's advocate for the garages. Because not every garage is trying to rip people off. Some garages are trying to do a good job. I can't have you come in and be like, yeah, I got 10 grand and I want a $50,000 car. That isn't going to happen. That's unrealistic, right? And you got to remember too, once it's at the high dollar shop that come out of your shop, they're trying to sell the guy everything under the sun. Maybe you were using the factory wiring harness. Maybe the guy told you he didn't even have the money to put into the car. This is all he has. So he's not getting disc brakes. He's got whatever suspension was there. He's got whatever wiring harness is in the car. He's got the old AC system in there, which work fine from the factory. Everyone's like, oh no, you need aftermarket air. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's fantastic. Up until the electronics break, the computer piece goes bad, the flipper doors ain't working, yada, 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 right? You can't beat it on an old cable system. Flops the door open, flops the door closed. Long as the cable works and the blower switch works, you got AC. So I'm a factory AC guy all the way. And I understand people don't want the box and they want it nice and clean. But again, it comes down to what you like. And that doesn't mean because you left the factory here that shop guy's a hack. It means that the customer didn't have the money to put aftermarket air in it, right? Or that he didn't have the money to do the suspension work. You know, that doesn't mean it's the garage's fault because the customer can't afford to fix the car, right? So again, you can see I'm getting a little tensed up here, right? This bothers me. So, you know, every shop has had issues where stuff has happened, and it's always beat the other shop up instead of, oh, did the customer go there and tell the owner he only has $2,500 to paint the car? And now maybe you're doing it in your backyard or in your garage, and you get halfway through the job and you realize, I should have never told the guy $2,500 to do this. This is ridiculous. I'm getting screwed. And you stop working on it, and the customer takes his car back. Well, that is the guy that's doing the bodywork's fault. He realized he was in too far, and he tells the customer, come get the car. So does that make the guy a criminal? No, that makes the guy wake up and realize I should have never done this for $2,500, and the car's a basket case. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's got to be, the deal has to be worked out between the customer and the garage of exactly what the expectations of the job is. If it's just coming for a paint job, it's this amount of money. That means I'm doing no mechanical work, right? So then when the job goes to the big time restoration shop and they're like, oh, the suspension sucks, and that, he should have never let you drive the car. Well, no, when he was at the other shop, he only had $2,500 to spend. Now he's at this big time shop, he has $50,000 to spend, right? So who's at fault there, right? Obviously, it's the customer, right? So you can't always believe what's going on. You got to know the whole story. And you can't bash the garage until you really know both sides of the story, right? It's innocent until proven guilty, correct? So you kind of got to know before you get out there and like, oh, these guys are putting out terrible cars. And no, hey, there's terrible customers out there, right? Maybe they're doing the fudged up welding in the back room and putting the patch panel over it, or some Bondo and seam sealer so you don't see it. And then it goes to the garage and, hey, the other guy ain't looking at it because he's focused on fixing the body, on whatever you're able to pay, right? If you walk in and you're like, I have $6,000 to spend on this car. Well, you know, for $6,000, can I put new quarters on it? Can I put a new roof on it? Can I put new doors on it? Can I put new fenders on it? Not really. So, you know, you got to do it by what the guy says. You give him 3 different price range, right? Premium, intermediate, and cheap. Which way are you going, right? And then the customer picks what he's going to do. Most shops do that, right? So, again, you know, you kind of got to understand the story before you bash the shop. All right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like what you see or you like what you hear. Tune in again. We're going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of videos coming out. Again, you know, don't hammer the garage guy till you know the full story, right? Thanks.